legitimately, man. He's a character, but he's got a real story, man. That dude works hard.
So we got Dan ready to enter. Let's go.
Entering us.
I'm going to chuck up some quick posts about him too, because what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Hey,
WA, mate. There's something in the water.
so I had some questions that I neglected to look at from that story before.
Oh, yeah.
Can we adapt them to Danny?
Maybe. One was from someone that said, I've got 3 girlfriends. I can only have one. Who do I pick?
Is this Buddha?
Buddha's got no girlfriends.
And then
6 boyfriends.
Then Sam LaSurf has asked a 2-parter. What does training structure look like after a long stint away? We covered
Max
that,
out.
so just fucking watch the show, mate.
Yeah, hold your fucking horses, you impatient bastard.
Yeah. And then part 2, do you look to get anything done while away on work, be it body weight or like we cover that too, Sam. So
shut the fuck up, Sam.
Cool your jets, you fucking.
Now, Dan is still connecting to audio. And we've got
I don't believe that that's actually Dan Macri either in that picture.
What a debacle. As soon as he came on, I hit the record button. I thought, we'll just go straight into you're entering the ass zone. But, yeah. Do you want to text him, Luke?
Yep. 2 seconds. I'm just chucking up a story. Ron, you want to do it?
A story?
Oh, I'm just chucking up a story. If you want to share it and ask people to do questions. Are we in a cyclone?
Oh, there he is.
Hey! Look at that head. Jesus.
Fucking hell. I was not ready for that.
I'm the best looking guy in here, so I mean, what does the fuck that
Well, that's not a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
I'm the best smelling pile of shit.
How are you, brother?
Good yourself, man. What's been going on?
Oh, brother, just flat chat. That's all.
Oh, fair enough.
What are you fucking talking about, Luke? You're unemployed. Well, welcome to episode 8 of the Australian Real Strongman Events, the Training Logs podcast. My name's Ken Taylor. We've got Luke Reynolds, we've got Rahn Deuis, and on portrait mode, because we haven't briefed him on that it needs to be landscape, we've got Dan Macri over in WA.
There we go.
There we go.
Hey, I figured out time.
Beautiful.
Right.
So we've just spent the best part of 2 hours with Rongo, so we're already had a few drinks.
We'll get straight to the show, you dicks.
No time to waste.
Yeah. So what's on the menu today, Dan?
Surprise, surprise, I'm doing some yoke.
Yep.
And working up to 500 beltless.
Woo.
Fuck.
Damn.
Spinal.
All right.
Right.
Give us a tour of your gym there, Danny.
Yeah, easy done.
While you're on the move. And I'm gonna eat this pizza.
Yeah, you fucking dog.
It's amazing.
Excuse me, wow.
Oh, there we go.
What?
All right, so
Yeah, there we
I
go.
got the murder sheets up.
Yeah, they're pretty much there to one, make it look like I'm actually cooking meth in here, and two, they keep the water out.
And 2, hide the fact that you are actually cooking meth in there.
I mean, yeah, but
Obviously.
Got a few red plates there.
Yeah. Fucking hell. I love this scaffold weight tree you've got going on. Did Rongo build that for you?
Sorry?
Did Rongo build that for you?
No, my dad actually did.
That's a beauty, man. That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the 50 kilo Ivencos there too. They're worth bloody fortune.
Fuck, we were talking about
Nathan
them.
Baxter gave us those. So
Lovely.
Must have been selling meth to afford those.
Who would have thought? Tires for actual deads, or mainly just use them on the side of the yoke because, well, extra weight plus it looks cool. Bunch of sandbags, extra little rack, belt squat machine. plate loaded, lat pull down, seated row, and then.
Who's that creeper in the corner?
I think he called him plate loader. There's plate loader.
Yeah,
And then,
How fucking
Yoke
tall are you?
also doubled his squat rack.
Okay.
What
Look,
are you?
Reynolds is.
Oh, dear. So you recently had that reconcreted, is that right?
Yeah, about 4 weeks ago, roughly.
Did you do that because you've been walking 3-ton yokes through there and the floor couldn't cope with it?
No, because the ground was all uneven.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was something stupid like 60 mil higher at one end than the other, and then to add to it, it was also on a lane to the left. So
Yeah, right.
One
Blow
shoe.
out a fucking
Yeah,
knee.
just put one shoe on.
We're still here.
There you go.
Fucking beard is back to fucking epic length, brother.
Mm.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah,
That's
I thought I was sort of, doing the beard thing on this show, but you fucking come in and trumped it.
No,
And he always had a vicious beard, my man. Fucking hell.
yeah, no, I'm pretty happy where it's at the moment. I don't think I want to be getting rid of it anytime soon. It's
I don't
It's
think
a
you should.
luxury,
I remember when
yeah.
you shaved it, I'm like, who the fuck's that bloke? I hadn't seen it in 10 years.
yeah, I mean, I did shave this for a good cause. I did it for the world's greatest shave, but
Yeah.
don't know how to do that again. So, no, pretty happy with my beard.
My man.
Looks
All right.
warm, looks warm in there. What's the current temp?
Wouldn't have a fucking clue, but especially with the sheets up, it does heat up in here pretty quick. So,
Methy.
well, okay.
From the flames under the Bunsen.
Exactly. Who thought grade 11 chemistry would have paid off so well?
I didn't even do that. I just watched a few episodes of Breaking Bad and figured it out from there.
Yeah, mate, it was a fucking blueprint to make money.
So, Dan, you just train at your own pace. You just
Yep.
do what you want to do. We'll talk shit in between.
Well, it's pretty much my own pace. Saying I'm going to start at 3, not even be ready till like 3:20. So
He's got a
Right,
yoke on his back
that's how it
already.
works.
He's just been doing laps with the yoke.
Yeah.
Are they Chrissy lights hanging off the roof?
The lights.
Yeah.
Fuck, you notice some detail.
Oh, yeah,
They
mate.
all have some
Party
party lights.
lights.
Actually
Oh,
installed
yeah.
at,
Oh, they're like 1985 all over again.
Can you turn them on?
Yeah, can we
at
whip
one
them on?
stage.
Can you turn them on?
Yeah, get plate loader on the job.
Otherwise, I would.
Fuck, let down.
I know.
Using
Tell
the
tell
PowerPoint
plate
or
loader to hold the phone too.
I will do.
something. Phone holder. Feels like
He's a 2 for 1 bargain, wasn't he?
I'm going to start getting nauseous.
Watch on some of the beats so I can talk for a second and get my shit together.
How you going, phone holder?
Plate holder.
Phone loader.
Turn the camera around. We're just looking behind you. I'm getting a fucking beer. Fuck this.
Oh, I'm drunk. There we go.
How are you, brother?
Good. How you guys going?
Pretty good, mate.
What's happening?
Fuck all, just watching this big cunt lift some weights.
Fair enough, I'll drink to that. What are you training with him or are you just helping him out today?
I just helping out today, already trained.
Are you Danny's brother?
Yeah,
What's your name, mate? Have I met you?
Plate loader.
probably. Lawrence.
Lawrence.
The last year that we were at fucking what's it called? Fuck, the place where we competed out in the Oval.
Oh, Lismore.
Yeah. You guys would have met it.
Yeah, awesome. That'll be, fuck, that's 2012.
Yeah.
You old bastard.
Plate loader was 12 years old.
Oh, fuck.
Or 14.
Fuck, we were joking.
It's fun to me.
So Dan, what's your sort of kit for yoke? Like, we got some Air Jordans there.
Socks.
Yeah, I think he needs a sock loader.
Sock loader.
There's some Nike high tops I found a few years back, just while I was looking for new shoes for yoke. I always prefer a high top and something with like a solid rubber sole. I don't like anything that have too much give. And then I guess my rule of thumb when it comes to training shoes, I always go like a size smaller than what would normally fit us comfortably, just because I don't like having any slip or give in my shoes. Just
that's brilliant.
Or rigid.
Yeah.
This is why we do podcasts. See, little tidbits like that you can't fucking pay for.
Do you also
the Cerberus?
Yeah, the triple ply sleeves. I brought those about 4. Actually, I brought them the same week we finishing off the concrete, and they arrived before the end of the week. These things are they're fantastic. My absolute favourite sleeves.
Yeah,
right.
Not as good as wearing knee wraps, but as close as you can get without having to fuck around with a knee wrap.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The only downside is having to pull them on and off in between sets unless you want your legs to go numb. But no, fantastic sleeves.
Absolutely, there you go.
So, Rahn, just because you were squatting, doing your high bars in triple plies, instead of wraps, does that mean that's cheating? Because I'm actually doing mine in SBD neoprenes.
Oh, well, fuck.
Sure, Mark.
I mean, I'll throw in a bit here. Haven't used everything, obviously, from bare knees all the way to 3 meter knee wraps. They're definitely giving you a lot more than what just your neoprene sleeves are for sure. I mean,
how many kilos you reckon, Dan?
I can't give an exact number on it because I think it varies person to person. I mean, you see,
what do you reckon Rahn's getting out of them?
40 kilos, and certain people that put on a set and they gain close to nothing. But I reckon the average person probably their wraps. So I reckon 20 to 30, somewhere in that range, probably close to 30.
Yep, I agree with that.
So Cam's a better squatter than Rahn is what we've come to.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get there first, Cam, before you fucking break.
My adductor's fully healed today.
Oh, well, let's fucking load up, son.
That's it.
Actually, I ordered some cuffs for because I got some patella tendonitis. So I ordered some cuffs.
Oh, here we go.
But I don't know if they'll be here on Tuesday, so I'm just gonna have to fucking do it anyway.
Yeah.
It says straight at 280, 285 or whatever Rahn did.
Yeah. Yep, use a wet bar out of some fucking tinfoil racks.
In the tightest shorts you can find.
Yeah.
They're going to be tighter than Rongo's trackies.
That's right.
Okay. How's Rongo going today?
You doing some pull-ups?
Huh?
How's Rongo going today?
Good.
Yeah, good, mate. He was good. We did some pressing, his second pressing session for the week, so it was a bit of bench press and Viking press.
Yeah.
And that was good. You know, he's a fucking maniac, but he's a top bloke, so it was good.
Have you anyone else training with you today?
No, just you two, mate. In fact, this is the first time we've done 2.
I don't think we could handle 3.
2 blokes in a day.
Fuck, Rahn would be down the fucking hospital.
Blokes on blokes.
You seen any blokes around here?
We'd have to get the graveyard shifted, bring in Woz, Biggie, and fucking Lee.
Oh,
yeah.
That'd be a fucking disaster.
What a debacle that'd be. So Dan, what's your preference on clearance for a yoke? How much clearance on the ground?
I go pretty small in terms of clearance, like 2-3 inches, somewhere roughly around there. I don't feel like you want to be wasting any more energy than you need to on a pickup.
Yeah.
And I also generally feel you perform better by going shorter, quicker steps than what you do by trying to overstride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll always keep it just as minimal energy as you can while you're on the pickup, because I don't see point wasting it there. I mean, it's the extra points make your pickup harder. So I do.
Fuck yeah.
Especially if you've got a nice even surface, freshly laid 4 weeks ago.
That's right. It's it's unsurprising to hear Danny say that, because Anybody who's gone over a 900-pound yoke, they're not going to be fucking taking strides.
You see some people fucking try to do it.
They fucking try. It doesn't work.
Nope.
I like all the fractal plates on there to just round it off.
Exact science, mate.
Yeah, I don't know why yokes are 135. Like, just make
Wow.
them a fucking round number, Mason.
Fuck you, Scotty.
Neville. Yeah.
Scotty Neville.
Scotty Neville.
You fucking dog.
Oh. Wow.
Just
Love
got a
the-
big thank you from Rongo sent through.
Yeah, he sent one too. Yeah, he's a good lad.
Oh, I didn't get one. No.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
He's just fucking, he's thank you to you as he blocked you.
Yeah. Hey, I got a blue tick in my fucking inbox now, so.
Oh, wow. What's that mean? Free nudes. There you go. So, Danny,
Yep.
you keep your stance the same width as your pickup stance?
Roughly, I mean, obviously, as it gets heavier, I will sneak my stance out a little more, but I try and keep it pretty much the same the whole way through.
Yeah.
I've got pretty wide hips anyway, so it allows us to keep everything a little wider. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah. In the past, I picked up sort of one like a quick squatter would, and then you spend 13 minutes trying to work shit back in, especially with heavier runs, and just bust up.
Yeah.
But I think it's just trying to keep up efficiency.
Yeah.
As you get heavier, you actually gravitate wider to make the pickup easier. But if you don't have to, why waste an extra energy?
Yeah. Fully agree.
Let's grab these tires. I'll get you this hand propped up.
Any chance you can tell plate loader to go back to landscape?
Hey, Lawrence.
Yeah.
There we go.
There
Oh,
we
man.
go.
Plate loader. Poor bloke. He has a real name. Plate
Mars
loaders
getting
have
all
feelings too, mate.
Yeah, ask Buddha.
Mars getting all short after a couple of minutes.
Yeah, a couple of shardies.
Hey, you reckon there's been anyone in history built more better for yoke than Danny, or what?
Broad shoulders, fucking big hips.
Hips out the fucking ear, exactly. Quads about 30,000 inches around.
Biggie'd be one that.
Yeah. Well, they've had
He's quite
that
slight,
rivalry.
almost compared though, isn't he, Biggie? Like
Yeah, slight's definitely how you describe him.
slightly fucking tapped. So how much is it?
I still think Mike Jenkins.
Mike Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah.
What about?
How much are these tyres, Dan?
85 kilos each. So,
How much air you got in them?
How much does that weigh?
Is it helium? We're gonna have to fucking get these put on the scale.
I've actually got my calibrated stats over here. More than
Fuck,
happy to-
He's called you bluff, Cam, you fat stick.
Hey,
No, I
Dan,
used to have the same scale for weighing and competitors is what I used to weigh on my shit here.
so Dan, can you tell the good folks at home, like all one of them that are watching us?
It's me.
Yeah. tell me basically what you're training for here. Okay.
All right, and hopefully a bit closer to the microphone.
We need to get him to stop moving. He's got ants in his fucking pants.
Yeah.
I've run out of pizza. I'm fucking devoed.
Yeah. Good. I've still got chocolate almonds.
Rub it in.
Yeah. We need to mail out some fucking Bluetooth headphones to people or something.
Or a microphone for their phone.
Yeah.
Those microphone attachments for phones actually clear up a lot of the sound.
Yeah. He's probably on an Android or something too. No, I can't hear him.
Can't even fucking
We're just talking between ourselves, plate loader.
What's the drinking game today?
Every time we can't hear Dan.
There's not enough booze in Springwood for that.
We're going to get a bit of a live action.
Oh,
Yeah, POV.
Let's go back to fucking Spotlight.
There we go. I'd rather see Dan than you. Fuck yeah.
Fucking oath.
God, look at the size of that back.
Nice sleeves on the calves still.
Yeah, because he's only at 9,000 kilos.
Do you reckon he could have gone diagonal, like get a little bit more length on the run?
I don't think. I think he's training specifically to the record length.
Sounds like they're pretty muffled there.
Harry Spotter's holding the phone wrong.
Yeah.
What's it on this time?
So what was that, Danny?
Weight-wise, that was 280.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll pop another 25 in each pin now and go to 380, and then figure out some in between jump and go to 5.
Oh,
Wait, did you say 280 to 380? Then 5? Yeah, that's what I thought you
280
said.
to 380, I'll probably go like 450, 460, then I'll go to 5.
Oh, that sounds rational.
That's how I usually do it.
Hey, I got one thing I'm good at. Let me have it.
All right, Danny. Well, we've got some time. Run us through your journey to Strongman, brother. How did you start in sports? What was your background?
So sports-wise, I guess the first like real sport that I actually kind of played and actually put any sort of actual effort or care into was rugby union.
Yep. There you go, Cam.
Yeah, and then as a part of doing that, started getting into the gym and just lifting weights to get better for that.
Yep.
Yeah, then from there, was lifting weights. One of the trainers there suggested that I give a powerlifting comp a shot. So I went down,
Smart move.
did all right there. It was a push-pull comp, but I ended up breaking at that time the capo teenage record for bench press and deadlift without having competed before. And then was sort of encouraged I might be okay at this sport, so I got hooked up with a coach from there. Ended up doing powerlifting for a few years, but in the meantime, I was upstairs, just playing video games at one stage, and then Dad said, "Come downstairs, have a look at this thing on TV. It's the World's Strongest Man competition." I was like, "All right, I'll come have a look." And it was a replay of one of the ones from I think it was mid-90s, and they had the car flip going on.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, that just looks like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Doesn't it?
I just want to give that a shot. And then started slowly kind of figure out what was actually going on with Strongman. I think Luke would remember this in the real early days when there was literally one Strongman comp a year, and that was Australia's Strongest Man. And other than that, nothing kind of happened.
Yep.
I think Matt Van Bunigen might have been one of the first guys from WA who ever went over. He went over 1 year.
Yeah, he come over to the Oz Strongman Nationals in 2009 when Chris Andrews was running it.
Yeah, he did that. And
That was up on the Goldie, yeah.
He actually did one of Bill's comps just before that as well.
Did he? Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, Matt's a fucking monster. I still talk to him every now and then. He's a lovely guy.
I haven't spoken to him in a little while, but I've heard he's been all right.
He was looking at because fuck, you know, he's like, he'd go chuck like a 420 kilo squat up, blow his quad off, and then come back 6 weeks later and try to deadlift the same fucking weight. He's a maniac, but he was getting sick of fucking powerlifting, so he was looking to come across a strongman, but then he started lifting stones. So I was talking to him quite a bit about that. And then he blew his bicep off. So then he's just a mad unit, but it was good to see him coming back and doing some strength stuff again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just got so much potential, man. It's a shame not to see him involved.
Big time.
But yeah, from there, saw Strongman, wanted to get involved, started getting a few bits and pieces together, and then Matt was kind of phasing out of Strongman at this point in time and really wanted to focus on powerlifting, and he ran a qualifier 1 year, or ran the qualifier 1 year that qualified us for the Oz Strongman Nationals. Obviously, that whole federation fell apart.
Yeah.
And then I guess from there, by default, he was running the old StrongFit qualifiers, which technically he ran. It was all my equipment. I owned the venue. I pretty much set the whole thing up. And afterwards, like, hey, I don't really want to do this. Do you want to run comps? I was like, well,
I'm doing it anyway.
I'll be competing, but if no one else is going to do it, I guess I better. So then, got roped into running all the comps in WA as well. Which
so do you guys? Sorry to cut you off, Danny. Cam and Rahn, you probably don't remember the StrongFit qualification system, do you?
No, I've seen it, and I started Strongman late 2014.
Yep.
So, and I think it was probably that was the start of the Arnold sort of era.
Yeah.
So I've sort of heard and saw some of the
benchmarks.
The benchmarks. Yeah.
It was sort of similar to, I suppose, the concept they're using with OSG, but I think that's just a press and a deadlift. But what Bill had was sort of basically grade, like, I think it was like E to fucking A, and then there was elite level 1 and 2. And it was certain marks for, I think, farmer's walk, log, deadlift, and yoke. And if you could, in a competition setting, satisfy these certain numbers, you were then entitled to qualify for certain level competitions. It was quite a novel idea because no one in the world was actually setting qualification standards for anything at the time. So it fizzled out eventually, but Bill was sort of a bit avant-garde there with that, and it's now been adopted by other people. But
it's funny. So Iron Rev, so the in-house comps that Aaron hosts, he has a very similar system, and he's kind of renamed some of the levels, but it was always A, B, C, D, elite level 2, sort of something. And that was
that's it. And Aaron was around back then, so Yeah. Sorry, Danny. Continue, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say the StrongFit system quickly. I actually thought was a great system. I think it did need a bit of ironing out. I think a few of the numbers are a little off in terms of where they actually were. Yeah. I mean, so things like the yoke and the farmers, I think, was spot on where they really needed to be. But realistically, the log and the deadlift numbers, I think, were a bit low compared to where they really should have been.
It was 1,000-pound yoke and like 170 kilo farmers, but then it was like 125 kilo log and a fucking 300 kilo deadlift or something. It was
stupid like
that. A bit off.
But yeah, I actually really liked the concept. The only issue I had with it is I think for the sake of a promoter running the event, with 2 max events, which are 3 attempts each for the log and the deadlift.
Takes a long time.
They became a difficult day to run. We had one event. We actually had 43 competitors sign up, and we started the event. So
that's 120 minutes of attempts.
2
hours for one event.
That's insane.
We started the event at 10 in the morning, and I think we finished it just before 8 o'clock.
Fuck that.
And that's not including pack up and pack down time either.
That's garbage.
Yeah, that was terrible. And that was back in the early days where I was competing and running comps at the same time, which is
also insane.
I think those sort of qualification numbers kind of work well when there is a less organized feeder system. So now we've got regional, they're going to state, which then goes into the Arnolds. So there's kind of natural processes where each comp gets 100%. Heavier and heavier.
Where it's competitive opportunities,
correct. Where it's a little bit disjointed and you've only got 1 comp a month or, like a year in a different state, you kind of, you could argue you could do these numbers in your home gym and you could still kind of put your hand up to compete if you haven't had that opportunity before. So I think it's definitely got merit, but when
you can set something like that up for our arse shows.
I agree. I think actually having a proper feeder system, which is, I guess, the system we always want to emulate, which I believe American Strongman Corporation really, they're the ones that really.
Or even an SCL have got sort of various different levels of competition.
I guess the reason why I use ASC is because they have the whole process from amateur to pro, where, I think they were the first amateur to pro system, where SCL I know does facilitate that a bit more now, but SCL I think always started as a pro federation and kind of worked backwards, whereas the ASC...
SCL came out of the ashes of IFSA, so it was sort of like, it was just another platform for pros, basically. But ASC, I still think the world over is really still the only genuine amateur to pro system, ours included, you know what I mean?
I think ours is pretty solid, really. I mean, it's helped.
It's definitely evolved into a really good fucking thing now, absolutely.
I think it's pretty solid now. I think there's definitely room for improvement, as there is with anything. I mean, my only issue with it is, I mean, last time I spoke to Aaron about it, the idea is top 25% rounding up per weight class qualify for Arnold's, which is fine. But then the issue is, how do we just? I mean, there's no consistency between how difficult we're grading the event from, say WA strongest man, Victoria's strongest man, strongest man.
Yeah.
And I guess I always kept Bill's old rule of, whatever they're doing at World's Strongest Man, you take off 10%, and that's what you do at Australia's Strongest Man. And whatever you're doing at Australia's Strongest Man, you take 10%, and that's what we're doing.
And then you come down the classes. Yeah. And I think, and having spoken with Az about this, he's trying to get, in conjunction with Mason, more minimum standards, for, and some sort of table to work. Because again, that's always that question. Because I think it was like the Tamworth comp or something was heavier than the Arnold's as a quality, and it's just, which is great.
Yeah, that was a regional qualifier.
Yeah, which is great to have that comp if people want to do that. But in the grand scheme of things, like you said, it's a regional qualifier for a state comp to, it's a bit all over the shop.
It probably should have been New South Wales Strongest Man at least, you know what I mean? And
not fair enough. I mean, I think we've always kept our standards pretty consistent with what I've sort of said or graded it appropriately. I mean, we've only held one WA-based event this year, and that's a qualifier for WA's Strongest Man. And the yoke there was 400, which is relatively heavy, but it was also a shorter distance. It was only like I think it turned out to be like an 8-meter carry or something like that. By the time we had safety tape and everything up, which is, I think, for that distance at that level, an appropriate weight. If it was a full 15-meter carry, it wouldn't have been 400. It would have been lighter for sure.
Yeah, 360 or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much the number we use. The 360 sort of mark is generally where we go.
Yeah, 800 pounds. Yeah, it's a good number.
I guess our standard, I mean, the women's we've always been a bit more hit and miss with, but what we've used as our kind of general rule is, once everyone can complete the event, then it's too light. We need to make the event heavier.
I reckon women's must be the hardest to gauge, because you're always, like, generally, if you just pick 100 blokes just off the street, 100 blokes, there'd be a narrower spread of sort of just general strength. Where women, you'll get like this totally different spread. So picking competition weights, you'll get some girls that'll get 15 reps on a log, and you'll get 3 will get 0. Like it seems to be much harder to guess.
We've actually had worse than that a couple of times. We had a dumbbell press for reps at one comp, and we had a couple of pretty high level CrossFitters compete, and it was still 75 seconds for as many reps as possible. But the dumbbell was light enough that a couple of these girls could just snatch it continuously. We had 2 girls get 45 reps, and then a couple of girls get like 2 and 3.
That's what happens when like a Camilla rocks up to a regional level comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, when a unicorn walks out of the fucking forest and turns up to a comp.
Yeah. I get this.
All right, Danny, you do some sets if you need to, brother.
I'll jump in right now.
My man.
Get this weird feeling. Danny's stuffing us into the boot of a car.
It's just practice with the murder sheets.
Plate loader's done his job. Yoke set up. And we're going to get some gooch shot here.
Yeah.
Ooh, fuck, where did your drink go? Hang on. There it is.
Go to your left to touch.
Yeah.
Come on, Danny. All aboard.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do with Rongo.
Train noises. Fuck.
Okay.
Rongo dances for us, so it sort of negates the need for train noises.
True.
That's a massive human.
Yeah. So, Dan, what size shorts are you currently wearing?
These? They're 2 or 3 XL.
Bullshit. You can't lie to me.
Is there croc jocks under them?
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, Dan. We need to do a quick sponsors plug, mate. So give us a minute.
Dear man, I can't believe we're going to sit through this twice in one day.
All right, so we just obviously have to thank our show sponsors, Croc Jocks. Don't let Swamp Ass hold you back from performing at your best adult sanitary undergarments built for heavyweight strongman. Proud sponsor of the show, the Training Logs, as well as Luke Reynolds. So we might be able to get you a pair of crop tops as well, Dan. So
3XL for that, man.
3XL, yeah.
Extra
large.
large.
That beard is extra large.
It's like a fucking microphone filter.
Yeah, we're not getting any static or wind noise.
Shut your phone up in it. That's the roof.
Now he's putting us in a hole.
It's my worst nightmare coming through.
I'm getting vertigo.
Being murdered by Dan Macri.
Sorry, what was that?
It's all good, brother. Dearie me. All right, so run us through the record breakers, man. Like, obviously, I'm going to get there if I can. But who else we got coming down, and what's happening there?
I mean, look, we've got a fair few things sort of in the works a bit, so I'm just waiting to see one who actually can get there, and to be honest, who I actually do want there. Heaps of interest, and obviously guys like yourself, Nicole, Rongo, 100% want those guys down. There's been a lot of interest at state level, but I think we just have to filter out one for time, because I want to run it as an actual, more like an actual like, so a bit of production value to it is probably the best way to put it. Rather than a comp which can kind of drag around a bit.
Is that why you haven't got lightweights?
Yeah, exactly. He said he wants quality there.
It's about what people are actually going for. So, I mean, I'm not going to fill up time and space with someone who wants to, I don't know, break the, the state record for 10-meter farmers walks when I could fill that spot with someone like,
Nicole could go for the world record.
Record or something like that. So it's more those kind of decisions. And there's been a lot of people asking about state records, but as I've said to everyone, same priorities that goes for anything. If someone's going for a world record, that's number one priority, national record second, and then if there's space left, we'll fill in state records.
Well, if you want a fucking lightweight that can have a crack at the fucking stone record, mate, Rahn's sitting right there.
Man, come over.
Fuck, I don't know if I'm in any nick for it.
You're bigger than you've ever fucking been.
Yeah, tell us what stone you want. I'll get it sorted for you.
214.
Done.
Well, good, because the one I've already got lined up is going to trump that off the bat.
Oh, shit.
If you're serious, pop us a message and we'll make it happen.
That'd be cool, Rahn.
You know what I did want to do at one point? Remember when how ridiculous we're dropping Mason's Atlas stones off that tower? And
Yeah.
I wanted to load that 200 over the handrail. That would have been some
Imagine
fun,
if it clipped another level and just went bing.
Or if I went over with it.
Just tacky. Sometimes that happens. You get pulled over the crossbar. Like I've fucking done a rib on that. So imagine if you actually just went.
Well, of course you fucking have. You headbutted the fucking wheelbarrow in the US.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Pop that video up.
Yeah, we'll cut that one back in.
It's everyone's favourite podcast moment. So, Danny, that was 380 then, was it?
Yes.
Looked like a fucking empty yoke.
Not much gravity going on over there.
I was going to say, I was talking about the stones and potential mishaps. I had a couple of things happen, mainly with running events. It's actually my least favorite event to work in the competitions. Pretty much every time we've run it, we've had something or the other go wrong. So last year at WA Strongest Man, it just got rained out. It was actually, Luke, you remember exactly what it's like when you're trying to lift wet stones and it just becomes fucking impossible.
Yeah, they're amazing.
It just makes the whole event look terrible. And then the year before that, at a different event, we had a decent amount of mats and stuff set up, but one of the lighter stones, people just kept ditching it over the top of the bar, and it was pretty much clearing the matting over the other side and kept slamming into the ground. We ended up with a couple of nice huge divots in the ground that we had to try and fix up for the venue. So that was.
I was going to say, that's always popular with the venue, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they loved it. They couldn't wait to have a chat.
Yeah, send you a fucking big fat invoice and say fuck off.
Pretty much. And then actually, I made up a set of stones for Matt Van Beunigen at one stage, and this was back when I was training, or living and training at my parents' place. And where the house is on the top of a hill. And till we got them loaded up to actually take down to Matt, like the heaviest stone I think I made for him was like a 220 with a big 22-inch Slater mold. But, I was waiting for someone to push it down the hill. We had it in the fucking 80 or something go down the hill and clipped the curb and ended up in someone else's garden.
Ended up in a fucking lounge room.
Take out a wall.
220.
Yeah,
and then I had a 120 that went through our fence into the neighbour's garden. So that was
fucking hell.
They didn't like us much to begin with, so that didn't really help out a great deal.
That's outstanding. How good strongman.
Oh well.
It's built for fucking accidents, isn't it? You know, like
Massively.
you're not meant to put so much weight over your head, and then fuck. Yeah.
It's whole sport is, let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's amazing how few major accidents don't happen at comps.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like
with half the people we have as fucking loaders like Buddha.
Yeah, just an afternoon of near misses.
Yeah.
Harry Spotter, how are you, son?
More POV.
Ooh, stop it.
Good.
Fuck.
Oh, bit of leg.
Knee sleeves on finally.
Engage.
What about how much we weigh?
9,000.
He's chucked another 80 kilos on, has he?
So what?
Yeah,
We're
60?
384, 1,000, just over 1,000.
Just a tiny bit. Yeah, we're good.
Come on, Danny.
Fuck, imagine if he farted right now.
Fuck.
It'd take out plate load.
That looked fairly comfy.
Dude, that is a massive back. It didn't look that fucking difficult.
No.
And I love that we've had 3 jumps and we're at over 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's ordinary.
Beltless.
Yeah.
Beltless, exactly. Just put sleeves on. I need sleeves to get out of fucking bed.
Oh, no.
Look at him getting those bastards off. Even Buddha's talc. Fucking. Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
He's just crushed Cam.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
Right.
No.
Piss.
You're another 40 kilos under.
Machine.
So you're only going to 500.
Pussy.
Someone's going to do it.
Fuck yeah.
What is your projected number at the Breakers comp?
620 is the plan, yeah.
Yeah, because Geordie's at 6'10", isn't he?
He did.
2016.
Yeah. That was 6'10" for 3 meters. I think it was a year after that they actually changed the standard with the yoke and increased it to 4 meters, so 10 feet to 13 feet. So I figure if I'm going to beat it, I got to beat it properly. So
Why don't you do 10 meters? Round it up.
Fucking lazy arsehole.
Yeah, just do it properly.
Yeah, and that was 2016 record breakers. That was a fucking big year, actually. We had myself there. We had Geordie there. Mark Wells was there. We had Rongo. We had Cole Wolf. And you were supposed to be there. You ended up being the MC for the event because like a week out. What happened, mate?
Tore the long head of my left bicep.
Yep. There you
Doing
go.
yoke. Doing yoke?
Yeah, it was. I went 575 for like 8-ish meters.
You're like 3 days out.
And I was going to have a deload week and then a week off. And after that 575, I just started getting a sting going down my my left arm. I was like, maybe my neck's just tight. I'll figure it out. Maybe it's probably not too bad.
Push it up to 600 and walk it off.
And then with the deload week the next week, that felt uncomfortable every time I picked it up. It just stung like crazy, but got through and then ran an event that Saturday, finished that event, and we're going out to dinner for a friend of mine's girlfriend. And my partner at the time goes, "What's wrong with your arm?" I was like, nothing. What do you mean? She goes, no, your whole arm's purple. Like, what's wrong with it? And then, yeah, my whole left arm has gone purple. So,
Lovely.
hanging by a thread and then snapped off the rest of the way.
How the fuck do you do a bicep doing yoke? Like, because obviously when you're not lifting anything, but it obviously just shows how much pressure your body's under.
There's a lot of forward on a heavy yoke. There's a lot of forward push with your bicep to support.
Yeah, on the crossbar to counteract. But
so bicep, you've got two parts. You've got the long head, which attaches just over the elbow, which is the one that's commonly torn, stones, deadlift, tie flips, that kind of stuff. And then you've got the short head of the bicep, which attaches up at near the clavicle and attaches. It goes underneath the pec tendon and then helps stabilize the shoulder. So it was the long head that I tore. So it tore from the top and rolled down. It was
that's fucking worse too.
Yeah, it was really annoying. It was a 90% rupture, so it hadn't actually completely come off at that stage. It was. I think it mainly came about because the pec that I tore back in 2011, or whenever it was, and the left arm was constantly, having to do more work stabilizing for the right arm that just couldn't function.
Ironically, I'm in the same fucking boat right now.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it a little while ago, weren't we?
We did. We talked about this extensively because you're the only person who's done the equal amount and same injuries as me, usually on fucking everything.
It only happens to the best of us.
That's right. Pushing the boundaries, mate.
But yeah, it was annoying surgery as well because it wasn't a complete rupture. It was difficult to sort that out. And then the second complication was normally they would slot the tendon back under the pec tendon where it normally goes, but there was too much pec thickness that they couldn't actually get under it properly. So the choices were either cut the pec tendon, reattach the bicep, and then reattach the pec. And they decided against that because that's more healing issues, whatever. And so I opted for sticking the bicep tendon on top of the pec tendon, which
that must be weird.
As a result, can you feel that?
Oh, you can actually see it. As a result, I've got this. Hey, Lawrence, come in and hold the camera for us.
Come on, plate loader.
As a result, I've got this weird lump here in my back. Kind of all bunched up and attached.
Instead of going under. Fuck.
Shit.
So that's the song that comes along with that.
Fucking strong man.
People probably don't appreciate like those kinds of loads that are pretty much fucking potentially career-ending sort of number. Like the yoke at Worlds last year. What was that?
600 or something.
And then there was a misload on top of that.
Yeah, they accidentally pushed to the 650 or something.
Yeah, and then
final.
Yeah, Lawrence that ended him, didn't it?
Yeah, blew his calf off or something. Yeah.
Because you could argue, the human body, maybe 2, maybe 3 times body weight for stuff, deadlift. Because you think way back in history, when was the time you ever needed to lift anything? Maybe a fucking tree branch off, one of your tribe members or some shit. But when you start getting fucking carton 4, 5 times body weight, 6 times body weight, on your shoulders, the human body is not designed to do that.
Yeah.
Yours isn't.
Oh, 100%. Especially you look at something like yoke farmer's frame, or even to an extent like a heavy, it's moving. There's so much time that you're on one leg. So think about think about say like the when they did have the heavy bell tote at the Arnold's a few years back, and you've got Zadrunas and Brian Shaw carrying 715. There's times where holding 715 on one leg.
One leg.
Yeah, plus whatever their fucking body weight is, so it's close to a ton.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's that shifting of weight. So your hips move, and everything over your back has to then switch to the other leg, and
exactly.
Yeah, it's the sport's gone fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, but that's you talk about a show and crowd. The bale tote's a shit event because you get fucking 9 out of 10 guys bunny
dropping it
down
20
the fucking,
times. Yeah.
down the runway, and then you get one guy that just smokes it, and then they're fucking disabled afterwards.
Yeah, they're better off having a fucking head-to-head yoke, make it 500 fucking kilos, and watch the guy sprint with it.
Mate, well, Rob Kearney at 2009 Oz Arnold, fucking, it was a drag race with fucking, you know, Jerry Pritt, you know, every other cunt down the fucking 15-meter runway. Mate, way better event. Yeah,
exactly. Even the year before, 2017, they had it was like Colm versus Brian Shaw and Matt Ragg versus fucking, you know, Kielikowski. These were good races, man. You know, these weren't fucking, and it was still 500 fucking kilos. It's still half a ton. Like, people's perspective, because the athletes just keep pushing the envelope on what they push the weights up, and the athletes somehow can fucking do it. They just keep going, well, fuck it. We'll just keep going fucking heavier.
Yeah. The average punter in the crowd's just like, it's a lot, but that's it. That's all.
When they've got the fridges,
I don't get the concept of how fucking heavy it is. They just
that's right.
Exactly.
What I can conceive.
Unless you go to the gym and know what 200 kilo deadlift feels, you have no concept, because 100 kilos looks the same as 1,000 to someone else, you know. Yeah. But when you put fridges on there, that's, you know, it's only 300 or 400.
Even certain events I find hard visually to actually make impressive for the crowd. Like, we had the car walk last year at WA Strongest Man. It was 360 for the 105s and 420 for the heavies, but it's just loaded up with plates sitting on the inside. So visually it looks exactly the same. No one kind of gets
no one gets the difference. Yeah. It's but a car walk does go a long way to, you know, obviously make that more impressive, because it's a fucking car. But a 420 car, forget about it's 420 car. It doesn't have to be any heavier. That's fucking awful.
Yeah, particularly if you got the strap harness and stuff like that, where it fucking wobbles a little bit more.
Crosses over your fucking chest or whatever. Yeah.
And then you headbutt the fucking windscreen.
Did you just headbutt that? Is that blood?
That's a fucking head sput.
It did. Fucking animal.
Is that blood on the yoke?
Yeah, it is.
That or it's a fucking sweat.
Sauce in that bag.
Christ. I'll drink to that.
Fuck yeah. Work, Danny. Was that 5?
I thought it was going to be, funnily enough, but...
Was that it?
Felt good.
Oh, fucking hell.
That was amazing.
Just do 620 now.
Then do a big fuck you to Jordan down the barrel of the camera.
No, Jordan's too nice. I can't do that to him.
I can. Fuck him. I'll do it right fucking now.
So what do you got? 10 weeks, Dan, until showtime. What's your progressions between now and that? He is bleeding in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're a fucking maniac, you giant bastard.
I guess the plan's kind of been heavy week, light week. With the light week, it's 50% of the goal, so 310. And it's 10-minute a 10-minute phenom. So kind of basically the same principle as your speed work with powerlifting. And then
catch your breath, brother.
Next week, actually another heavy banded squat session. That'll be the light squat week, and then I'll go back to 500 again with the belt, a bit more volume. That'll be 500 speed session, 530 speed session, 560 speed session, 590 speed session, deload, complete.
Fuck.
Fucking hell, mate.
Because that's the thing with yoke is half the battle is fucking making it to the start line in one piece.
Yeah.
As you already know. So it's about managing intensity, managing volume, you know, wave up and down, deload properly.
Arrive alive.
Arrive alive.
Wear the PPE.
That's the arse motto.
Wear the right PPE.
Scotty Neville. Arrive alive.
Oh, legends never die.
Obviously, like I said, it's about getting there. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position where even from like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I felt real confident that I can do the 620. It's actually about, obviously, my history of injuries. It's about getting there without busting myself in the process.
Yeah.
That's funnily enough the biggest priority right now.
I can hear that.
Yeah, so that's injury management's the biggest thing.
I'm looking forward to it, Danny, because it was disappointing when you missed out the other year with Geordie, even going toe-to-toe with him.
100%.
It's been a long time in the coming, you having a crack at this record. And I know Geordie's keen for someone to break it because he's got a great attitude with records. It's,
Look, when
they're there to be broken, so...
Look, and full credit to Geordie here. As soon as I announced, or even before I actually announced this is what I actually wanted to do, and I started getting up some heavier and heavier yokes,
Yeah.
Geordie actually sent me a message, and it was something along the lines of, you're going to go and get your record. I was like, oh man, I'd like to try and beat yours. And I was like, no, man, that's your record. I've just been hanging on to it for a while, or something along those lines.
Well, yeah, he's a top bloke, Geordie, mate. He's always had a lot of respect for you, and he was around back when you and I were around. And I said it before. We sort of spoke about you briefly on because Rongo's quite fond of you as well. We spoke about you briefly on Rongo's podcast earlier, but you were like this fucking phenomenon over in the West back when we fucking all started. Like we were all right. We were doing strong. We were lifting all right numbers. But there was just this like myth of fucking Danny Macri in Western Australia lifting these insane fucking numbers. And yeah, I think everyone over here has always had a big respect for your ability.
Well, we got to stay a bit more rounded and actually done some conditioning for once, I mean.
So, Dan, when you're going back a bit, you said your first powerlifting comp, you're obviously breaking some records,
Yep.
Classic Hmong strength, just some fucking cunt walking up and breaking records. What was your sort of, how tall were you? What was your kind of body weight? What sort of numbers you're pushing? Because obviously, exactly. You obviously got some genetic predisposition to strength.
All right. So this is a week before my 15th birthday. I was roughly around the 180 centimeters, somewhere around there. I've kind of been in that range pretty much since then.
Probably a bit shorter now after that yoke, but anyway.
Actually, I'll get back to that in a second because I do have a funny story about that.
Final.
But yeah, so it was about 180 centimeters, and I don't know why, for some reason, I decided I wanted to compete in the 110 rather than the 125s for whatever reason. So I was weighing about 115 2 weeks out, and I dropped down to 110 for the weigh-in.
Fuck.
I think I benched like 135 and just missed 140. And I think I actually literally had never deadlifted before, and my attempts on the day were 80, 140, 180, and 200.
This is a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I still haven't benched 130. I'm fucking 30. I turn 33 next month.
Where are you at the moment with your bench?
127.5. I'm
How about we race to 130? I mean, my handicap is I've only got one pec and one tricep, so.
All right.
That
sounds like a good bet.
That's a bet. You're on.
What are you currently benching?
Last time I benched,
15 years old.
At 240.
I intended to do a powerlifting comp about 24 months ago, and then just got bored because it's powerlifting.
Yeah.
And I think I benched twice in that prep, and I benched 100 for 5, and then 120 for a triple. And I don't think I've touched the bar since then.
Okay.
Well, that has potential, Cam.
All right. Well, I benched 115 for 2 on Tuesday.
There we go.
Also,
Calm down.
Yeah, whoa, fuck it.
Calm down. Whoa, boy.
Whoa. All right. We're on, Dan.
It's a race. It's a race.
Yeah.
How about a super total, Cam?
Super total.
Ooh.
Well, I someone else first so that I can challenge to a totally insignificant log comp as well. Where's Mark Wells?
Well, I'm your man.
I'll get in on that.
Yeah.
Rahman's overheads.
To be fair, Rahn, I technically did win the super total comp at Iron Rev because Ben Winstone didn't do the power comp. He only just did the stones. So I got him on the super total.
What was the super total? What events?
Full power meet.
Yep.
Max yoke, log, and stones.
Okay, that's actually really cool.
That's a long day. That's 8 hours.
That's all in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't maxed all that in 1 year.
If you actually go and look up super total, actually is like an actual event called super total, which is
and Aussie as well.
Olympic meet.
Yeah.
I think Jordan was the first to do that in Australia, actually.
Jordan.
Yeah, I think he did a proper sanctioned Ollie meet on the Saturday, and then he did a GPC Summer Classic or some shit on the Sunday, and he was
That's
the first
fucking
Aussie to
cool.
put up a proper sanctioned fucking super total.
Oh, sanctioned, he would
I'd
definitely
fucking do that.
be the only one.
Yeah.
We actually ran, I helped run a super total comp all done in the one day.
Yeah.
Around that sort of time. I can't remember the exact date. I think we had about 14 or 15 guys do it. Yeah. But it was good fun. I think a great concept, but it was really funny seeing, powerlifting guys with zero experience try to Ollie lift, and then overall, obviously, the Ollie lifting guys with no powerlifting experience did way better.
It's funny, right? No, because for strongman, right, most strongman comps, they go for a fast day is 6 hours, right? You got 5 events, there's a fucking lot of waiting around. And it's funny because like having done, I did a GPC powerlifting comp in
how'd that go for you?
Shit house, but it was fucking crap. Powerlifting's crap. Yeah, I strained a QL squatting, but they complain about not having the energy to make their third deadlifts. It's all fucking, and it's like, cunt. Have you ever done a strongman event? It's fucking 6 hours. And then I did a fucking full power meet, this super total, a full power meet. So I went 9 for 9 and then did fucking a max, took 3 log attempts and 3 stone attempts in 8 hours. And it was December, like early, so it was 30 degrees.
500 fucking degrees.
Yeah. And
here's the other thing I always bring up to powerlifting when it comes to a strongman comp as well. So a powerlifting comp, you go out and you completely fuck your first squat. What happens? You get to go again on your second. Go have your second squat. If you really fucked it up, hey, you even get a third chance. What happens if it's a strongman comp and you trip over on the first step of your yoke? Well, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're off to the hospital.
Yeah, that's it.
So true.
That's a fucking good way to put it, brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you blokes can hear my kid screaming his fucking dick off. If I have to disappear, it's because...
Bring him in.
Oh, he's
put him up in the haunted room upstairs where you stuck me, you bastard.
That's where I am. This is your bed.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, what's the shag rug on there?
I remember that. Have you washed it since? You probably should have.
No, it still smells like ass.
Smells like a fucking what is it? The F Shack. Dirty Mark and the boys.
Fucking nearly broke me fucking toe on that step outside the door.
Yeah, that was funny. That was a big thud.
Cam starts giggling down the fucking hall. I've come through out of the bathroom at fucking midnight, tripped over the fucking stairs, and broke my fucking leg.
Actually, I know you'd remember him, Luke, but Rob Downton.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, CrossFit dude.
Bobby D.
Yes. So
he still runs a CrossFit box not far from my place.
Is that the one in his house, or is that the actual gym?
The actual gym, yeah.
Okay. Because I went and stayed at his place for about a week.
Yep.
Literally walked in the door and slipped straight down his stairs.
Oh fuck! Well, did you stay for a week because he couldn't get you off the fucking ground?
Reckon we could get Bobby D on this show.
Man, you should. He'll be a great person to have.
Very interesting.
Having said that, an hour and 45 minutes of his training is just going to be him trying to stretch and warm up before he does anything. But
I still remember.
He can edit that out. It's fine.
Oh man, you talk about some of us being busted. He's the most busted person on earth.
Yeah, isn't he a fucking returned serviceman as well?
Yeah.
So he's done like 5,000 tours of Afghanistan or something.
SAS, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, he's missing fingers and shit on his hand. He's a fucking animal.
Imagine him coming after you. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, he just give up.
Has he got this? Is a fucking shocker.
Why don't you ask him on the show, mate?
He'll be coming after you, mate. That'll be worse than Danny throwing you in the boot.
Yeah, I'm easy to run away from.
Yeah, I still remember Bobby D's stone run at the Arnold a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
He loaded. So Tyson won that year. He beat Yuri from Czech Republic.
Yep.
Yuri was ahead by 2 points, I think, coming into the stone event.
Yeah.
So Tyson needed to win, and he needed 2 blokes to beat Yuri. And I think Jaden hit the final 180 stone. Yuri failed it. He ended up failing it in the final run. And yeah, Bobby D was the other one who loaded the 180 stone.
Jesus, what a fucking lineup for starters.
Mate, it was. I was in the arena watching that. That was one of the fucking coolest events I've ever seen.
What year was that? Because that is a fucking deep 105 lineup, man.
2017, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was
I was helping out. I was timekeeping that.
Yeah, I was just frothing.
That was
jerking off in the crowd.
Yeah.
actually, no. I remember that comp real well. I think I was commentating for that one again as well.
Yeah.
You broken cunt.
Yeah, I was commentating. Actually, the one thing I clearly remember out of that was the deadlift medley, and obviously people were allowed to use straps and had time to set up, but we were pretty clear beforehand about getting there quickly and making stuff happen. And Tyson was taking his time getting set up, and I thought I'd turn the mic off, but I said, "Hurry the fuck!"
You know what? Fuck him. That's what he needed.
Yeah.
I was worried up.
Yeah. No, he went and pulled like 11 reps at 2 seconds or some shit.
Pretty standard.
As we saying about losing height through doing all this dumb shit that we do. One of my best friends, Nevin Mills, who actually won the first ever Australia's Strongest Man.
Scott Neville. Did you say
Nevin.
Scott Neville? Oh,
Nevin Mills. No, I remember that name as well.
Yeah. He won the first ever Australia's Strongest Man under 105, but until we thought, and until recently I was pretty certain I was taller than him by a couple of centimeters, and I was down at his gym training last weekend doing my squats down there. And we're standing next to each other afterwards. He goes, "How the fuck am I taller than you?" He's like, "I've lost a couple of centimeters of height." I'm like, "Well, fuck, clearly I've lost more." So I've gone from being 2 centimeters taller than him to now 2 centimeters shorter.
fuck. So what do you measure it now?
I think I'm about 181 now. I think I was at 186 at my tallest. So
I was gonna say, I thought you were like 6 foot fucking 3 at some point.
Just a bit of compression.
Spinal.
That's spinal. You need to go hang off the rack like Rongo does.
Yeah.
I think my height and weight depend on who's quoting it. I think it was after it's actually after the first ever,
classic strongman style. Yeah, Thor's 7'11" now.
Yeah, Bill
9,000 kilos for that.
7 feet tall and 210 kilos.
Oh right. And then I'm standing next to you and I'm 6 foot fucking 6. Towering over you.
Just camera angles, man. That's all it was. Camera angles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Smoking mirrors, brother.
It's the lighting. Yeah.
You just have those really good platform shoes.
So, Daddy, with powerlifting, you went to Junior Worlds, is that correct?
Yeah, I went to 3.
Well, fucking hell.
Oh, all right. Fuck. Sorry.
Sorry, Your Majesty.
Hey, I paid my way to each of those comps. I'm going to get credit for them.
Fucking oath, absolutely. Yeah, man. When was that? Talk us through that, because I don't know these stories very well.
First one was it? I think it was 20. Oh, it was early 2000s. I think it was 2004, 2005, and 2006. So 15, 16, and 17 for myself. First one was in California.
Yep.
With that comp, it was actually held 2 weeks after the first ever raw powerlifting, like official raw powerlifting world championships. Which
it's funny, isn't it, that it was that late that raw powerlifting really took off? People don't realise that.
Yeah.
As a concept.
I mean, it was all equipped. Everything was, everything was equipped, and
well, it was just powerlifting. That's all there was.
Pretty much, and Raw was kind of seen as a joke, and they had. He did some pro strongman for a while as well. Scott Weech. I think he's actually one of the American guys who really didn't do so great. I mean, he was an AFC pro. He actually has an official 200 kilo log. He won the Raw Powerlifting Worlds, and he was on the cover of Powerlifting USA winning it. And the comp was literally held in someone's shed, and he was wearing a pair of old work boots while he's competing. That was interesting there. And then the second year I competed was in Finland, and that's when it was at the point in time when there was a big race backwards and forwards between Benny and Andy
Oh,
Bolton.
Andy, yeah. So you were there.
To deadlift 1,000 pounds.
You were
the
there.
second year, Benny got 440, had a shot at 1,000, and I think he missed it just above his knees. And then the last powerlifting worlds I went to was Lake George in New York, where Andy Bolton got the 1,003.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah. Got
Dude,
to the powerlifting
those
history.
are huge powerlifting landmarks that you were fucking at.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to be there. In all honesty, the best comp out of all of them was by far the one in Finland.
Yeah.
Because that one, like, not that the other ones weren't
He's closing the bag.
good. But no, the one in Finland, like, it actually. It was actually held at like a sports stadium. You know, there was like a proper warm-up area out the back. There was actually stadium seating. We had a crowd of about 300 or 400 people there.
It's exactly the same way the fucking Strongman, brother. In Europe, it's just fucking better.
Yep.
It's shown respect. It's Rahn knows. It's Rahn's competed in SCL, and that, you know, it's just treated differently over in Europe. They still respect fucking strength. You know, it's a different world.
Well, it's a national sport. Strong.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, Finland was so well run. It's I mean, I don't know if you guys caught any wind of it, but Anno Turchinen, who's the owner of Metal Sport, he ran the whole comp and did a fantastic job of running it. So it's kind of shit to see
with the whole
that he sort of said about George Floyd and that kind of stuff.
I was going to say, this is heading down the race path here, aren't we?
Oh, for fuck's sake. We had Rahn last week.
That was Clint.
Yeah, it was you.
That ain't me. That ain't me.
Yeah, no, 100%, Danny. It is a shame, but it's...
well, it's
even if you say something in jest, you can't just jump online and say it these days. Like, fucking hell.
No, especially you look at the position he's in. He's
in position,
politician over there.
It's the
old thing. It's like, even if you are thinking it, if you're in that position, don't say it because it's not good. It's not good. It's
career suicide.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because like I've got a metal suit, and you know, it's then that question of like, because there was a lot of talk afterwards about boycotting the brand and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, fuck, I've spent a bit of money on a custom suit, so I'm like, I might just fucking black out the label, and that'll be my little protest. But for fuck's, because the frustrating thing is, I've bought stuff from Inza.
Yeah.
And it was the worst shopping experience I've ever had.
They're fucking renowned for shit customer service, mate.
I ordered a pair of briefs for the Arnold Strongman squad event in 2018.
Yeah.
I wanted them in January so I can train all the way through. It took 4 weeks to get here.
Isn't it bad enough that you're a fucking lightweight? You're also out of using all this cheater equipment as well.
It was in the rules, mate. So fuck you cunt.
PPE.
Hey, just because I fit in a pair of briefs, all right?
I wear croc jocks at performance events.
Exactly. So anyway, I'd gone off the measurement charts, which, you know, I should have known better. They were fucking going to be wrong.
Yeah.
They ended up sending out the wrong size. So I ordered a 30. They sent out a 32.
I think I saw them on you.
Yeah, I got them on by
like
myself at work the first time. And I'm like, I sent a video to Az. I'm like, I don't think these are right. He goes, definitely. If you've already got them on, they're fucking.
If you've just pulled them on like a pair of jocks, they're not going to be doing.
I put them on like a fucking pair of like jeans out of the dryer. And I'm like, I don't know about that. So I sent them back. They fucking 4 or 6 weeks later, they sent me the right size, which turned out to be the wrong size. But they actually sent out the correct item, but I'd got the size wrong. So then I fucking sent it back, and it was this whole debacle. I then had to, because I wouldn't get it in time, I had to buy a new pair. And then fucking mail back the old ones, get this credit. It was a fucking...
Yeah. They're renowned for
12 weeks to get a fucking pair. I ordered a custom suit from Metal on Thursday. It was delivered in Australia on the Tuesday.
Fucking outrageous.
How does it even get here that fast?
I can't understand it, but I've had a fair bit of experience competing and, you know, wearing suits and stuff, obviously through powerlifting, and I still stand by it. Metal makes the best equipment.
Exactly, and customer service, all that sort of. But then it's like you kind of throw on that. Although do I want to support this type of person? Which again, it's an individual's point of view. But if you're just being practical, it's like fuck, I'm gonna have to buy Metal because they're the only ones that actually fit.
Well, mate, which suits are all the top pro strongmen wearing? Those fucking orange Metal deadlifters. They're fucking.
Yeah.
Pumpkin.
Novikov, Kilikowski, everybody's wearing those fuckers and they're pulling some big fucking numbers. Nobody's wearing the other shit.
Brian Shaw with his big moose knuckle.
Yeah.
Thor still have an Enza suit?
I think Thor's Inza, yeah.
Probably gets it for free.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's a custom. Like they've got
it's a boxing suit.
Yeah, now, yeah.
Oh, God.
What are you doing, Danny? You gonna fucking train some more, or is that it?
That was it.
Oh, maybe.
What are your accessories for yoke? Do you do anything specific for it?
That's a good question.
Most of my accessories I get done during the week, to be honest. I guess I've kept my total training volume relatively low. One, due to injury susceptibility, and two, I'm regularly working about 60 hours a week, and I honestly haven't been getting the best sleep for the last couple of months.
What do you
do? Feel that.
Yeah, it's at that point of, do I train a bit more because I feel like I should, or do I do the minimum I really need to and make sure I'm constantly
recovered? Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm leaning more towards constantly recovered, but
what do you
probably
do for work?
strip the yoke back down and get a bit more volume in.
He runs. You're running. What's your shop you're running, Danny?
The shopping?
Yeah, your shop that you run.
The shop that I run, Nutrition Warehouse.
Nutrition Warehouse.
Nutrition Warehouse that I run.
Yeah.
So it's actually a great job. Like, I actually really enjoy working there. But obviously it's a wage-based job. So the only way you can actually really make good money is, one, our bonus is pretty decent, and two is getting in the overtime. So I always
do the hours,
extra bullshit and get the overtime, but it means a lot of like 4 a.m. starts and a lot of 9 o'clock at night finishes. Heading out to
who the fuck's buying supplements at 4 a.m.?
No one, but it's sampling events. So you go out to all your F45s and CrossFit boxes and places like that, and hand out little fancy cups of coloured water to people.
Arse water.
Arse water. Yeah, can we get a custom-made product done that's arse something or other? Like a pre-workout?
It's called Imodium.
In all seriousness, if you were looking to get a product made up, there's a manufacturer in the US called High Tech Pharmaceuticals. They actually make like about 70% of the brands coming out of the US.
Cool. So I can make something like Anadrol that has arse stamped on it.
Arsadrol.
Probably. Might go to China for that one, but.
Dear me.
Pop out the back of the local Golds and just get a label maker. That might be easier.
We know a guy.
We know a guy.
Oh, God.
So I saw you doing some big squats again the other day, Danny, with the cambered bar. Fucking 450 kilos at the top. That's insane.
Yeah, so that's it's once again it's based around what's going to have the biggest carryover to this yoke carry.
So you do that, so they got a really heavy top end. So it's, I mean, you've always been a really big squatter. I remember watching you squat well over 400 kilos, box squats, cambered bar squats, things like that years ago. But you've always used that for the pickups on your yokes and things like that.
Not so much the pickups. It's actually it's more about the extra stress that comes through the middle of the lift. So I guess the whole process, we sort of started out going, where's the area where I feel the weakest in the yoke? And initially it was ankles and knees, feeling like as I was walking, if anything's going to give out, it'll be those. So we did a lot of extra work like TKEs, weighted step downs, a lot more like general ankle strengthening and stability kind of work, a lot of lateral lunges to kind of fix those areas up. And now they feel pretty good and locked in. The next thing we found that was actually starting to cause a bit of trouble was through the mid back with rounding and feeling like I'm gonna collapse. So that's where the squats came in. We've got a heavy chain tension plus the heavy band tension pulling you forward, having a fight to keep that position against it.
People working their weaknesses.
It's a theme, isn't it? Elite people working on their fucking weaknesses. What a surprise!
So with the cambered, sometimes on band tension, you'll see people intentionally have it pulling on an angle, and pulling them forward, not necessarily up and down.
Yep.
I think I saw that for your setup. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah. So We basically started with the pin at the bottom being a couple of inches behind where the bar sort of sat, a couple of inches in front, sorry, where the bar sat in the rack, so it would be pulling you forward the whole way through. And then obviously to maximize on band tension, rather than attaching the bands onto like the bars where the plates would go, we attached it onto the rackable part of the cambered bar to kind of give it a little bit of extra torque there as well. And then obviously the chains I always find pull us forward for whatever reason.
Chains will often just have that little bit of a swing, won't they, where they'll sort of just drag you forward a little bit.
Yeah, especially because I've obviously, a quick squatting sort of background, so I tend to sit back a bit more rather than sort of sit down like doing an ollie squat. Yeah. And then as I come forward, it wants to swing forward more on you, so you've got to sort of fight back against it a bit.
Yeah. No, fair enough. No, I was like, oh yeah, Danny's squatting, and oh yeah, what a surprise! It's fucking millions of kilos. Fucking.
When was the first time you squatted like 400?
Equipped or raw?
Were you like 12?
Raw.
Equipped or raw?
Both. When did you do both? What kind of question? I was expecting that answer.
I squatted 400 equipped when I was 18. And then raw, it was
18 and a half.
9 weeks after my pec tear operation. So it would have been
9 weeks after your pec operation. You're fucking ridiculous.
How do you even get your arms? Like, did you squat fucking one-handed? Like,
by the time I actually got back to the last 3 weeks, I was actually able to get both my hands back on the bar. The first.
So everyone else is walking around trying it with 60 kilos.
The first squat session I did back up when I was told I could actually get back into training I'm gonna say it was 230 on the bar, because thinking about the stuff I had set up at that point in time, 30 kilos for the cambered bar and then a 50 kilo plate either side. And that was holding the bar with one arm and my other arm still in the sling. And I think it was 4 or 5 weeks of that, and I was able to start slowly getting my arm out a bit more. But most of the time it was, single arm and the arm in the sling pretty much the last 3 weeks.
What the fuck?
Fucking hell. You're outrageous.
Yeah, this we can slot in on the podcast.
What's that, sorry?
Have you got footage of that squat so we can slot it in on the podcast?
Yeah, it's I've got it on YouTube. I'll pop it through on I'll pop it through.
Yeah, send it through to Cam. He's our
easy.
He's our resident no idea IT man.
Fuck.
So this podcast will go up probably
6
10
weeks
to
from
12
now.
weeks.
Yeah. It'll actually, we'll have to do a follow-up interview about the record makers.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be good.
I might have to go, fellas. This kid is going off his tits.
Oh, for fuck you, Rahn. Fucking dog. Bring him in. Bring him in.
It's that time of the day, mate.
We're just about probably at time anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, it's fairly close too.
This is how I wrap up every podcast.
To be fair,
Rahn just fucks off and leaves us to mop up after him.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a top bloke.
Thanks, Dan. I'll catch you later, boys.
Oh, good. See you soon.
Hey, brother.
Fuck you, Cam.
So, my follow-up question to the squatting, Dan, because I'd asked Luke this, but he hasn't squatted 400.
Nah, Luke probably never will. I've come to terms with that.
We've all done heavy yoke, and heavy is relative, of course. And yoke, you're fucking only picking it up 3 inches tops, right?
Yep.
And the feeling you get on your back when it's fucking real heavy, you're like, I've only picked this fucking thing up 3 inches. And you've got some cunt that said, all right, I'm going to go sit down on a fucking chair and stand back up with it. So how does that sort of feel for you mentally? Like, I guess, getting yourself off the prep, and obviously, it's a journey to get to 400, but it's like any major or, big time powerlifter or, big strong. Anytime they're getting under a certain level of weight, there's obviously inherent risk. So there's a level of sort of arousal and stimulation that sort of comes with that. And I think squatting, probably maybe a quick benching, because if you fucking drop 1,000 pound fucking bench, you're dead. But I think squatting, there's obviously the most risk. Deadlift, you can just drop,
Yeah.
So how do you sort of get psyched for that? And fucking, how does it feel to actually go, all right, I've unracked it. Number one, that's fucking step one. It's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
I'm about to fucking squat this thing.
Look, mentality-wise, I think the thing is, I've either seen or had happen to me pretty much everything bad that can happen in a squat. I mean, yeah, I've torn. Luckily, no surgery required, but I've actually torn my quads 3 times while squatting, and most of it just through not doing the basic shit that we should do, like your hip mobility and stuff like that, and just not taking care. And then I've seen people like there's that video going around a while ago, that guy blowing out his kneecaps.
Oh, the Russian.
Yeah, the Russian guy.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm sure you got, like anyone that does strength sport, I got tagged in that 12 times that day, and I'm like,
I fucking hate it.
So
when people send it to me, I'm like,
see it.
people send it to me, I'm like, stop sending me fucking injury videos. I've lived through enough of them myself.
pretty much. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those happen live. I've seen some pretty bad shit happen when people had to be cut out of squat suits because something's broken or something's given away.
You throw in the equipped side of it as well, because you can't just get them out, can you? You have to.
Nah.
No, the equipped side, I feel, is more dangerous in all honesty, because when stuff does go wrong, when you're raw, you can kind of crumple under the bar and somewhat fall out of the way. Yeah. When you're equipped, you're not meant to kind of bend. You get stuck.
stay in a certain fucking spot and just get buried.
Yeah, it's such a good point.
I think at a point you've just got to accept, it's as dumb as it sounds, you go, do I actually want to do this or not? And if the answer is yes, well then you just get out of the bar and you fucking give it a shot and see what happens. If not, well then fucking pack up and go home and find another hobby.
Well, that's it, Danny. It's the same. I sort of would like it coming back from extreme injuries and having to say, obviously for me, biceps has been a big one. Coming back and trying to lift certain load stones. You come back and you can lift certain stones quite quickly, but then you get to a point, for me it was 140, and I couldn't just yank at it and have it fucking fly up, and I really had to work hard to make the biceps activate again and then be able to lift again. That for me was like the leap of faith number. It was like I had to really commit to that lift. It was like the biceps either going to hold or it's not. And I was like, well, what am I going to fucking wait longer? I need to do this now. And if it's going to tear, it's going to tear. So I've just got to fucking go for it.
Yeah,
I got pretty lucky with a couple of with one of the surgeries that I had. Actually, my arthroscope, probably the least significant surgery, and the surgeon was really, he goes, look, he goes, I'm gonna be honest with you. He goes, I want you getting back to full training within 3 weeks. I'm like, isn't that too early? He goes, nah, by 3 weeks you're not good enough. Once again, this is just cartilage, not tendon, so slightly different situation. He goes,
I've had 3 of those myself.
3 weeks, I want you back so I can fix it up. There's no point in fixing this up if you can't do what you're going to do. And he goes, with what the injury is, if in 3 weeks you can't perform at 100%, it's all in your head. It's not physical. Yeah. And then I guess I've applied that same theory to every other injury I've had. Once the surgeon says to you, hey, by this point in time, you should be able to do this, well, you've got to accept, well, if you can't, either A, surgery was botched, in which case you need to go get the surgery done anyway, or B, it's all in your head.
It's so true you sort of talk about that. Now, so last week I had just a adductor strain squatting, and last Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, saw the physio. My physio's great. His first thing is, let's get you. It's all about back to play, because you're at risk of re-injury when you're deconditioned. So we need to keep you training and all that sort of stuff. But now for me, it's like this fucking little thing, and it's just little, and it's 100% 2 weeks later, because it's just something. Yep. But there's that level of confidence. And then even my partner, she's had a bulged disc, and she's just she's had a couple of sort of reoccurrences of it. She's pretty strong, and she's pretty fit and all that sort of stuff. And that confidence level, and because I think the statistics are a back injury or a disc injury, by 4 weeks, it's 60% of resolve. By 8 weeks, 95% of resolve naturally. So any lingering pain is fucking up here. Yeah. So 100%. It's that sort of confidence level to kind of just go, well, my body suits, or I've just got to do it anyway,
Yeah.
So,
You've got to mentally come to terms with it and just take that leap.
Yeah, that confidence.
100%. I mean, I think it was about 6 weeks ago I had a tear in my adductor, and I was like, well, I want this to heal right. I said I want it to heal back with full range of motion. So actually, I tore it using the belt squat. It was just, Yeah, real stupid situation. Going through a bit of personal stuff at that point in time. I actually finished the set that I needed to do, and then for some dumb reason, I just decided to do an extra set. And then in the middle of that set, had my headphones on, or I got a phone call, and because the set was feeling that easy, decided to answer the call, and then finished my set, and then still decided to do an extra rep at the end of it. And because it'd been raining a bit, my foot just slipped out from underneath us, and then rather than just letting myself go, I tried to fight back against it and ended up with a bit of an adductor tear. I was like, but if I want this to heal right, how am I going to get it to heal back with a proper range of motion? Yeah. I was like, well, what do I need to do? I need to be able to squat decently. I need to be able to do the yoke properly. So every morning, regardless of how the adductor felt, I got up and I did 3 sets of 10 on the belt squat, and then did 6 yoke runs to make sure I could still do everything properly. And then day by day, week by week, it got better, and it sort of it ended up healing up okay.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's, you know, I don't believe in icing an injury because it doesn't make sense. You know, so. And you know, when you're fucking out in the tribe on the, you know, in the savannah, mate, if you can't keep up with the tribe, mate, you're fucking dead. So keep walking, keep moving.
Even Cam, when I tore that hamstring down south with you guys, the next 2 weeks later, I was down in Canberra hiking mountains, and it was the best thing I could do for it was just keeping the range of motion and moving the blood through it. Yeah, I could feel it, but it wasn't catastrophic. It didn't fucking stop me. It didn't require surgery. So I was like, the best thing I can do is just keep moving this motherfucker.
Correct. And you talk about like the growth and the recovery, it's that remodeling, repatterning of tissue fiber. If it's static, it just goes fucking anywhere. But if you're moving it, it knows how to grow in the right direction.
Correct.
All that sort of stuff. So
the first quad tear that I had, the advice that I was given was to rest it and sort of keep it immobilized as much as possible. And then that one actually, the quad ended up healing up relatively short, and it probably took a good, honestly, 18 months before I could actually get a decent feeling and range of motion squat back in again. And even now, if I don't keep on top of that scar tissue pretty much daily, within a couple of weeks it seizes up, and I just kind of get locked up a couple of inches above parallel. Which,
well, with biceps, what do they say?
Anyway, but still, I'd rather not have stuff tightening up and bunching up on us when I don't need it to.
Yep. Same with biceps. Usually in a splint for about 4 weeks after the surgery, but the second the splint comes off, first thing I say, get full fucking range of motion back in that thing, get full grip strength back, and then we'll worry about lifting loads. But it's all about just getting that range back, getting that movement in there. It's you can't just rest everything forever. That's bullshit.
I think the unfortunate thing is you get certain injuries where you're unfortunately slightly stuck. So my tricep, which was I guess the one that ended my actual proper strongman career in terms of doing everything. I was getting ready to do the Arnold in 2018, and practicing for the dumbbell press, cleaned it, and then I just felt a pop and something like just rip and roll up the back of my tricep. I knew immediately I'd torn it. Went and tried to get an MRI and everything done. Couldn't actually fit in the MRI machine, so I couldn't actually get a clear image at any point.
With that, I can empathise with that because I've had the same problem.
Big bastard.
Which actually made it worse because they're like, oh look, we think there's only one head that's torn, so it's not too serious. I was like, all right, well, can I still kind of fuck around and do this squat event that I wanted to do at this comp anyway? And they're like, yeah, sure, it should be fine. Go in like 5 weeks after the actual injury now, get the surgery, and they're like, and I wake up after the surgery, and rather than being in a sling like I'm expecting, my arm's in a hard cast as if I had broken my arm. I'm like, oh fuck, what's happened here? Like clearly this is cool.
Yeah.
It's funny that surgery, you go in thinking one thing, and then sometimes you wake up because they've found some other shit. They've had to do all this other stuff. You're like, oh, what have I got now?
Yep. So pretty much what happened was your 3 tricep tendons come to one big junction of tendon. That tendon had actually pretty much shredded itself over time, and there was just balls of scar tissue and shit all over the place, and there really wasn't
weak points everywhere.
Yep, it just had its time and just all came off. It was literally one head of the tricep was still attached by about a couple of millimeters worth of fiber, and the other 2 heads are completely detached. So they did their best to kind of reconstruct it, and I have full daily, like regular day-to-day stuff I can do, but fuck, the triceps weak, and it takes like a good 30 minutes of warming it up before I can actually get back to full range of motion. And even at that, that for final range of motion, there's so little power in there. It's ridiculous.
There you go, Cam. That's how you can get him on the 130 bench press, brother.
I'm fucking coming for you, Dan. I'm gonna fucking go do it right now.
Fucking love it.
But yeah, that was about. There was 4 weeks of total immobilization after that, just to try and let it heal in the hard calf, and that was so hard to actually get any range of motion back from.
Because you atrophy, you know, you're atrophy in a sling anyway, but then your muscles, your fucking rotator cuff, because your arm's totally immobilized, everything atrophies and stuff like that. So then you're coming back from behind the 8 ball, you know?
Yep. Yeah, by the end of it all, everything just, like the whole arm just felt like absolute jelly.
Yeah.
And the left arm at that stage, I think, was about 4 inches smaller than what the right arm was. So, yeah.
No. Yeah.
It was, wasn't great.
There you go.
How are we looking, Cam? You want to fucking...
Well, look, it appears like Dan's got nothing else to do training wise.
No, I'm pretty good today. So.
We've come to the natural conclusion of today's episode, I believe.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for coming on, Danny.
Man, it's always a pleasure.
It's been good to have a shoot the breeze again, brother. But I was that fucking yoke is looking outrageously strong as it always does.
It's feeling really good, and slightly slightly off program session in all honesty, but
Yep.
Oh, look, a little bit of win at the moment, just like I said, dealing with work stress and some other personal shit, which
there you go, brother. Take that win.
But, a couple of weeks ago, with the Strongman comp, I was down a few volunteers, and we had, like I said, the 400 yoke for the heavyweights, and only a couple of resets. I was just resetting them all beltless anyway. I was like, well, fuck, if I can get this many runs in at 400. Let's get 500 a shot.
Fucking hell. You're an animal.
That's why you've got injuries, Dan, with that sort of thing. So just fucking stick to the program, mate.
I mean, I guess you've at least learned the rule of if I'm going to do stupid shit, I just adjust the rest of my volume around it. So
that's true. He programs dumb shit in.
Yeah, and a dumb shit allowance.
Pretty nice.
There's a margin of error. Love it. All right, brother. Well, thank you very much, my man.
I appreciate it, man. It's been great chatting to you guys.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you, brother, and we'll talk to you soon anyway.
Beautiful.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Daddy.
Bye-bye.